Solstice of Heroes is back in Destiny 2, and this is a summer tradition where we get some new gear and some new glows. The Solstice armour sets are always some of the best looking in the game, and we've got a new set to acquire for our Titans, our Hunters and our Warlocks. So the following is a guide for Solstice of Heroes 2020 armour with upgrades for all classes and tips and tricks in Destiny 2. And if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And before we go any further in the video, let me know down in the comments which class you're going to be getting that armour for, or are you going to be doing more than one Guardian, and which one are you going to do first? The main objective of Solstice of Heroes is the armour, and we're going to start out with a rare set and upgrade that to a legendary set, and then finally you can masterwork that set and get the glows. So if you want to skip ahead for the tips for each class, then just use the timestamps down below and skip to the section. So I've got tips for Titan, Hunter, Warlock for both the Renewed and the Majestic armour sets, with some upgrade tips and tricks as well. There are other cosmetic items available in the game too, but these are mainly for Bright Dust and Silver in the Eververse store. So this event will have us travelling around the solar system, engaging in all kinds of activities like strikes, Crucible, Gambit, patrols, public events, and also the returning European aerial zone. So before we do any of that, we want to head down into the tower so we can get started. First up, go and speak to Eva Levante, and she's going to be our main contact for the event and will give us our first set of armour, the Renewed armour set. So after speaking to Eva for the first time, what she'll do is give you the helmet, and then you want to go into the European aerial zone, and this is kind of like your tutorial run. Once you've completed one round of the European aerial zone, go back and speak to Eva Levante and she'll direct you towards the statue. Go up to the statue and interact with it and you'll get the full set of blue armour. Go back to Eva Levante and then you're free to start levelling up all of the armour. Before you do any activities, you want to put this on so you can start levelling up your gear. Once you have your gear, you'll be directed towards the European aerial zone, and this is a returning zone on Earth where you have to defeat a series of mini-bosses and then a final boss at the end. You can select this from the director in the tower. There's a timer, so you want to defeat as many bosses as possible, and the more you defeat, the more chests you're going to spawn at the end. At the end of the event, you'll get a notification saying the chest locations are going to be revealed, but they're only going to be revealed for a few seconds. So you want to get up as high as you possibly can, remember those chest locations, and then go after the chests. Inside the chests are going to be packages, and you're also going to get key fragments to drop throughout the EAZ runs, as well as the other activities around the solar system. Open up the packages with the key fragments to get the rewards. So you want to watch out for the daily element feature. Each day one of the elements is going to be a singe, so you'll have solar, void and arc, and this is going to rotate daily. If you match this up to your subclass and weapons, then you're going to be able to generate orbs, and these are going to be crucial for levelling up your armour set. So let's check out the requirements for each class. So these requirements are in game on your armour sets, but if you want to pause the video here to get a kind of quick look, as you'll get both the Renewed and the Majestic requirements on the same screen. So first up, we've got the Titan armour upgrades. Next up, we've got the Hunter armour upgrades. And finally, we've got the Warlock Solstice of Heroes 2020 armour upgrades. So if you need to go back to refer to that, go back and pause the video if you need to. But as I said, you can check out the armour sets in game. All the requirements for each armour piece are fairly similar for each class. They tend to vary in enemy race that you have to defeat or the elemental orbs. For example, the Renewed chest piece for the Titan, you have to complete 5 adventures, collect 100 solar orbs in strikes and defeat 25 guardians in Crucible or Gambit. With the Warlock, again you have to complete 5 adventures. This time you need to collect 100 arc orbs in Crucible or Gambit and open 10 Solstice packages. Whatever class you're running, you're going to be running around all the activities in the game like strikes, Gambit, Crucible, adventures, public events, patrols and most definitely the EAZ. Right, so now we've been through what Solstice of Heroes is, let's get into some tips and tricks to get these objectives done nice and fast. And big thanks to SeraphimAngels and Chinnygan from raidsecrets on Reddit for the cheat sheet, and you can check out the post and the Google sheet for the checklist down below in the description for the video. So as for some general tips, you want to try and pick up the elemental orbs as quickly as possible because they don't last very long. They last much less time than say Gambit motes, so if you see them, go and pick them up straight away. So first of all, we've got the Titan Renewed armour. So as you're going through the specific requirements for particular game modes, this should be always contributing to the all category. So keep an eye on this as you go and finish off any remaining requirements at the end. So the activities here are split down by game mode, so it's a little bit easier to read and you can tick off the requirements nice and easily. First up, we've got Gambit and Crucible, and you can mix and match Gambit and Crucible, but don't do Gambit Prime or competitive PvP as the elemental orbs won't drop in there. So you want to do the Guardian kills first, and you will likely complete the 5 matches along the way, and then you want to get the Void kills by changing your weapons and subclass to Void, and it's probably faster to get this requirement done in Gambit rather than Crucible, as there's going to be more enemies around for you to kill. Next up, we've got the Strikes, so make sure you're doing the Strikes from the Vanguard playlist, and you want to collect the 100 solar orbs, and to collect the 100 solar orbs you need a solar subclass and solar weapons. Next up we've got the patrols, and you want to do the public events on Nessus. So once you complete the public events, you can immediately go to the director and load back into the area near the public event that you were just in. So head back into the public event and you might catch another public event in a different instance, allowing you to complete multiple public events really efficiently and fast. So if you don't get it done the first time, try to load in a few more times and you might get lucky. Then you want to complete the 5 adventures. And then finally, on the EAZ, it's probably best to do this one last, as throughout the activities you're going to be generating key fragments along the way. So complete enough runs to get the 10 packages, and all the while you're doing this, equip an Arc subclass to get the 50 kills, and that will complete the 2 objectives at the same time. You'll get the Arc 50 kills and the 50 kills done nice and efficiently. So after you've done all of this, if you've got anything left to do in the all category, tick those off and then go back to the statue and upgrade your armour to the Titan Majestic set. So now we've got the Majestic armour for the Titan. The requirements do get a little bit tougher here. So first up we've got Gambit and Crucible. You want to kill 100 Guardians with Arc weapons as a team, so Hardlight could be really good there as you can flip the element at will. So you've got 10 Gambit matches as well, that's going to take some time. Gambit Prime is faster, but you're not going to get the elemental orbs in there, so it's probably best to do 10 regular Gambit matches, as you can then contribute to the 1000 elemental orbs whilst you're doing that. Next up, it's the Strikes, so you want to make sure you want to do them in the Strike playlist rather than selecting them from the map for your activities to count towards the armour requirements. So check the elemental burn and make sure you have the same subclass and weapons to get the 600 kills for their objective. Next up for the patrols, you want to complete 10 heroic public events, and once again you can double dip on the public events on completion, but don't leave too early and make sure it counts towards your armour before loading back into the public event location. Finally, you want to complete the 5 patrols on Io. For the EAZ requirements, it's fairly easy. You want to kill 200 enemies and collect 200 orbs. And then for the all category, you've got the 2000 elemental kills, so try using elemental weapons throughout the activities to get this done quicker rather than the kinetic weapons. 100 ability kills could be done with supers, otherwise with the melee kills, throwing hammer would be good on the middle tree solar titan. For the 300 kills with solar weapons, you could head into the Whisper mission or the Shiro Chi area in the Last Wish raid, and the same for the 100 solar melees. For the 20 bosses, you could head into Escalation Protocol or the Reckoning, or finally the Menagerie would be quite handy for that too. Once you've done all of this, you can upgrade your armour to the Magnificent set, and then you can get random rolled armour from opening Solstice packages as well. So to get the Magnificent glows, they're the white glows on each of your armour sets, you're going to need to complete the following requirements. So for the helmet, you need to complete a Nightfall Ordeal for the Master difficulty. For the gauntlets, you want to complete a Nightmare Hunt. For the chest, you want to complete a Pit of Heresy run. For the boots, you want to win 7 Trials of Osiris matches, but you don't have to do them on a single passage, so you can do those over a series of weeks. And finally, for the class item, you want to complete a Tier 5 Altar of Sorrow 3 times. So I think the only sticky one there for some people might be the Trials of Osiris matches, and I definitely include myself in that category. And other glows can be purchased from the Eververse for Bright Dust or Silver. So you've got Arc, Solar, Void, and also Stasis, getting ready for Beyond Light. If you're only running one character, then you can do these right away, but if you're running multiple Guardians, then I would wait until you have all of the Guardians leveled up to Magnificent Armour, as you can get all of these final requirements done on all 3 characters at the same time. Next up, let's have a look at the Hunter Armour requirements, and first up, let's have a look at the Hunter Renewed Armour. And again, as you're going through these specific requirements in particular game modes, you should be contributing always to the all category. But keep an eye on this as you go and finish off any remaining requirements at the end. And first up, we've got Gambit or Crucible, so you can mix and match Crucible and Gambit here. Again, don't do Gambit Prime or competitive PvP, as the elemental orbs don't drop in there. So you want to do the Guardian kills first, and you'll likely complete the 5 matches along the way, and get the solar orbs by changing your weapons and subclasses to solar, and it's probably going to be faster to get this requirement done in Gambit rather than Crucible, as there's more enemies around for you to kill. Next up, we've got the strikes, and make sure you're doing strikes from the Vanguard playlist, and to collect the 100 arc orbs you're going to need an arc subclass. For the patrol mode, you're going to need to do the public events on Nessus. Once you've done that public event, you can double dip again, so make sure it does count towards your armour before quitting out and loading back into the same area. And if you load into the same area in another instance, you might catch that public event at about the same time, and you can double dip to get multiple public events done much faster and more efficiently. If you don't get it done the first time, try it a few more times and you might just get lucky. Finally, we've got the EAZ, and it's probably best to do this one last, as you're going to be generating key fragments along the way. So complete enough runs so you can get the 10 packages, and equip a solar subclass for the 50 kills, and this will complete the 2 objectives at the same time, so you get the 50 kills done and the solar 50 kills, and that'll be nice and fast and efficient. Once you've completed these requirements, then upgrade your armour at the statue. Next up, let's have a look at the Hunter Majestic armour, and first up we've got the Gambit and Crucible requirements. So you want to kill 100 Guardians with Void weapons as a team, and Gnawing Hunger would be quite a good choice here. You've got 10 Gambit matches, they're going to take some time, although I would just bite that bullet and get those done early, as you can collect the 1000 elemental orbs while you're doing it. Next up, we've got the strikes, and you want to make sure you're in this strike playlist rather than selecting them from the map for your activities to count towards the armour requirements. And check the elemental burn each day, and make sure you have the same subclass and weapons to get those 600 kills on the objective. Next up, with the patrols, you want to complete 10 heroic public events, and again you can double dip the public events on completion, but don't leave too early and make sure it counts towards your armour objectives before loading back into that public event location. And finally, you want to complete 5 patrols on the EDZ. Next, you've got the EAZ, and once again they're quite easy. You've just got to kill 200 enemies and collect 200 orbs. And then finally, keep an eye on the all category as you go. So you've got 2000 elemental kills, so again you want to try using your elemental weapons throughout the activities to get this done quicker rather than using kinetic weapons. You've got 100 ability kills, and that could be done with supers or melees. For 300 kills with art weapons, you could head into the Whisper mission or the Shiro-Chi area of the Last Wish raid to get those 300 nice and quick. For the 300 Cabal kills, you could go to Mars in Escalation Protocol, and for 20 bosses, again you could do Escalation Protocol, double up there, and go to the Reckoning 2. Next up, let's have a look at the Warlock armour requirements, and first up is the Warlock Renewed armour. And again, as you're going through the specific requirements in particular game modes, you should always be contributing to the all category, and keep an eye on this as you go and finish off any remaining requirements at the end. So for Gambit and Crucible, you can mix and match Crucible and Gambit. Don't do Gambit Prime or competitive PvP, as the elemental orbs don't drop in there. Do the Guardian kills first, as you'll likely complete the 5 matches along the way, and get the Arc orbs by changing your weapons and subclass to Arc, and it's probably faster to go into Gambit rather than Crucible, as there's more enemies around for you to kill. In the strikes, you want to make sure you're doing strikes from the Vanguard playlist, and you want to collect the solar orbs that you need. Make sure your Warlock is equipped with a solar subclass and solar weapons to get those solar orbs. Then you've got the patrols, so you want to do public events. The other classes said Nessus, but do check in-game for the location for the public events for the Warlock requirements. And once you complete the public events, you can double dip on the public events by quitting out at the end, although first make sure it does count towards your armour requirements before you load back into the public event and double dip there, as you can complete multiple public events by loading back into the same area and efficiently doing multiple public events at the same time. If you don't get it done the first time, try again a few more times and you might get lucky. Then finally, it's the EAZ requirements. It's probably best to do this one last, as you're going to be generating key fragments along the way. Complete enough runs to get 10 packages, and equip a Void subclass for the 50 kills, and this will complete 2 objectives at the same time. Once you've completed these requirements, then go back to the tower and upgrade your armour at the statue. Finally, we've got the Warlock Majestic armour requirements. First up, it's Gambit and Crucible, so you've got 100 kills with solar weapons this time as a team, and Hardlight again could be useful as you can change the element. You've got 10 Gambit matches. Again, they're going to take some time, but I would just bite the bullet and do those 10 Gambit matches so you can count towards the 1000 elemental orbs whilst you're doing it. Then you've got strikes, so make sure you're in the strike playlist rather than selecting them from the map for your activities to count towards the armour requirements, and check the elemental burn and make sure you have the same subclass and weapons to get the 600 kills objective. Next up is patrols, so you want to complete 10 heroic public events, and again you can double dip on those public events, and then you want to complete 5 patrols on Titan. For the EAZ, it's a nice and easy requirement set again, so kill 200 enemies and collect 200 orbs, and for the all section you've got 2000 elemental kills, and try using elemental weapons throughout all the activities to get this done quicker, and don't use those kinetic weapons. For 100 ability kills, that could be done with supers or melees. For the 300 kills with void weapons, you could head into the Whisper mission, 300 hive could be done at the Altars of Sorrow, and 20 bosses could be done at Escalation Protocol, Menagerie or the Reckoning. Well, that's it for all the armour requirements, and all players who finish the Solstice Begins quest will unlock a free Solstice of Heroes music track, and you can log into your Bungie rewards account to learn more about that. So alongside the new armour, there's also a bunch of new cosmetics, including ghost shells, new sparrows and finishers too, so you can check out the Eververse if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So good luck with the grind, and let me know down in the comments what you think of Solstice of Heroes, and if you've got any tips or tricks for getting this done faster. Well, that's it for this guide for the Solstice of Heroes 2020 armour upgrades for all classes in Destiny 2, and thanks so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, subscribe and share with a friend. To join our community, check out the Discord link in the description, and you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVGpodcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out these other videos on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the EAZ.